How's it going, everybody? This is the Stimulus Check Hub here to give you your daily stimulus check and unemployment benefits updates and the latest information. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube, which is what I try to provide here on this channel.
Let's talk about where these recurring payments could be coming from. Because just a few weeks ago, when gas prices topped $4 per gallon nationally, many people began to slow down their spending. It really wasn't spending on gas either. Some, yes, were not spending as much money on gasoline. But a lot of families stopped spending money on eating out. Others just stopped buying things like food at the grocery store. Some stopped with retail spending. And a lot of people just simply canceled memberships because they had to make up the difference with the rising gas prices. And reduced spending causes our GDP to drop. And if this happens for 2 consecutive quarters, it puts the U.S. in a recession. Now, here's the reason why this is so important. Even though those different scenarios are very different, those people are all in the same place. They all have one thing in common. These are families or individuals just trying to save money to make up the difference in the rising gas prices. Now, families were not alone. It wasn't just individuals and families that were trying to figure out a way to reduce their dependency and costs regarding gas and oil. Lawmakers have been looking into many different ways to provide some relief to the American people as well. And a new plan was unveiled today that does just that. Because today, 3 House Democrats unveiled a plan to send $100 monthly gas checks to individuals to help them with the rising prices at the pumps. And here's how this would actually work. Any individual that makes less than $75,000 per year would actually get a check. A couple that makes less than $150,000 per year would also get a check. But here's the difference between this bill and what the previous bill was, or the previous idea was with Ro Khanna and Senator Whitehouse, where they proposed that you would get a potential 50% profit off of the cost of oil. Well, that bill, there was an idea that you'd get anywhere between $200 to $300. Okay, now those would actually come out 4 times a year because it would be 1 payment per quarter. Now this bill, it's a monthly payment, but here's the big difference. What these 3 House Democrats are proposing is to add on $100 per month for every dependent you claim on your tax return. Now this is big. This is really big. And I say this is really big because this is something that we haven't seen yet. And in just a minute, I'm going to explain why this is a little bit of an issue, because right now with Republicans, they're not going to support this. And this means moderate Democrats have to support this as well. And this is mainly moderates in the Senate. Okay? So stick around, because in just a minute, I want to explain what is happening and why this is potentially a good thing and why this is a bad thing. But let's first get a statement from Representative Mike Thomas, because today he said, and I quote, "Americans are feeling the impact at the pump of Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And right now, we must work together on common sense policy solutions to ease the financial burden that my constituents are feeling." Okay. Common sense policy solutions. Key word there. We also heard from Democratic Senator Ron Wyden, and this is something that he said last week. But he said, and I quote, "I'm very interested in all the ways to get relief to the driver at the pump. I'm looking at it." Now, what we know is many lawmakers are looking at different ways to provide relief. And this right here, okay, this is the second plan that has been proposed by Democrats in the past couple of weeks. And the goal is to provide some form of cash assistance to the American people to help them with the rising gas prices. But the issue with this new proposal and the one from last week are the same. Number one issue, where does the funding to to pay for this bill, where does it come from? And how much support would it even get from Democrats in the Senate? That's the issue. And here's what I know. Right now, Democrats are extremely worried about rising inflation, also rising gas prices, also the national deficit. The main thing is inflation. And obviously the gas prices ties into that. The news today that came out this morning wasn't great because we heard from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, and he stated that we could see peak inflation around June, July, or August. What Democrats cannot afford is additional inflation that close to an election. Remember, the midterm elections are in November. But according to Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, he says we likely will not see inflation come down until Q1 or Q2 of 2023. This is almost a year away. Okay? So we're going to continue to see inflation go up, 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 up. Then it will kind of level itself off before it tapers back down. Now, this isn't great news anyway. But we also got word from Saudi Arabia that they say they will not be held responsible for shortages in the global energy market. So, if we're hoping for a supply fix here, we're going to get more of an oil supply, well, this isn't going to happen. And prices are likely to stay elevated for quite some time, which is not great news. Now, to answer your guys' question, because I know I'm going to get this, is how likely is this $100 per person proposal is that actually going to pass? Well, here's what I can tell you. This is just my personal opinion, all right? I'm no expert. I'm no lawmaker, okay? I do not get a vote. My belief is this bill, this proposal will not pass as it stands right now. But why do I even bring this up? Well, here's the reason why. The reason I bring this up is because this group of 3 Democrats, they put 2 different ideas together. They put this bill to provide some type of stimulus check to the American people, and they say this is going to be for gas. Okay, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. They also say, the other idea is, and again, this I'm reading between the lines here, is they're putting that $100 per child payment in there. Guess what? Guess what is not included? And guess what we got reports on over the past couple of weeks? Is that more and more children are falling back into poverty. So guess what? The child tax credit payments are not there. Nobody's proposing them. Okay? So guess what? Democrats say, we got you covered. I got something right here that is going to include $100 per month per child. And then let's throw that in with the $100 per month for families or for individuals and $200 per month for families. Let's put those together. Here's the issue. This is an attempt to try and mix in some form of relief for both children and gas relief into the same bill. And I honestly don't believe Republicans would ever go for this. And I think this is what is going to cause an issue with moderates. Because the child tax credit payment wasn't passed for a reason. It's not because the Democrats, moderates, Republicans don't believe that it's needed. It's because of the language that was in the bill. Well, this proposal is pretty much saying anybody can get this money. Whether you work or you do not work, if you fall underneath those income thresholds, you get $100 per month. That's the issue. But the reason why I want to bring this up is because I think this is great. I honestly think this is great because guess what this does? Gets the conversation flowing. Gets that ball moving. Right? We start to see some momentum. Because here's what I can tell you. Do you think anybody that's up for re-election this year, do you think they're going to look across the aisle and be like, that person just proposed an idea. The American people are jumping on that. Right? So do you think the people going against these 3 Democrats in the House, they're going to be looking at this proposal and be like, I got to come out and I got to do something. I got to provide some ideas so my constituents can vote for me. That's the reason why I think this is very good, because it gets the ball rolling. These are just proposals, but they open up the doors for more talks. And that, honestly, is where all things start. They don't start as a bill. They don't start as okay, I got 50 senators to support me. No, they start with talks and discussions and okay, that's good, but let's try to flesh it out a little bit. Let's try to get a little bit more. Let's try to give back. Let's try to pay off some of our national deficit, or let's include this language into this proposal. That's what happens. That's what these discussions are all about. So, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, do I think this is going to pass? Absolutely not the way it is written right now. But could this actually, go somewhere? Could this get some support? In my opinion, yes. I honestly think this could get some support because it does have two things that people are fighting for. Child tax credit payments, or some relief there, because children aren't driving a car. So do they need as much of a payment for gas as the parents? Maybe, maybe not, right? And if the child is, let's say, under the age of 6, and the parent doesn't work, are they taking them to daycare? Do they need money for gas? Right? That's the other question. I saw this actually asked in one of the articles I read just a little while ago. And so that's where the discussions are going to kind of go into. So again, as we know more information on what's going on here, I promise I will fill you in on all latest news and updates. But I just wanted to provide you with a little bit of an insight as to why we could potentially see talks of a recurring payment for to help us and alleviate the pain of gas prices. Again, it's just another form of a stimulus check, but it would provide relief to the American people.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube. Have a good one.